Her departure from Red Bull sent shockwaves throughout the entire F1 world, but it seems like there were a couple of people who saw this coming. Zak Brown has spoken openly on this entire Red Bull story, and the team boss of McLaren made sure to make things worse for her future. But did Brown become a more disliked figure with the latest comment? And how will the fans see him after talking about such emotional topics about his colleague, one that led Red Bull for 20 years? The fight between Red Bull and McLaren increased in the past couple of years to the point of them directly competing for the Drivers' and Constructors' Championships. This started a lot of negative comments, such as Brown saying that he doesn't see her as a friend and that's normal for this sport. However, his latest words about Christian being fired by Red Bull might have gone too far. Even though the internal check in Red Bull damaged some relationships, not many thought it would lead to her being removed from the Austrian team. Of course, it's impacted every person in Red Bull because after the exit of Newey, Wheatley, and Cortina, the team is losing strength from every direction. And the main blame for this has been said to be her. Still, the fact that the court gave a decision in which he was cleared from all blame led us to the idea that everything will go on the same way in Red Bull. All they had to do was rebuild from the inside. The drama in Red Bull, however, didn't stop. And according to Zak Brown, the removal of her was only to be expected as the most reasonable solution to this whole story. Explaining more on this and talking about the entire situation between Red Bull and her, Brown went on to say, "Maybe the timing was a bit surprising but not the result. I think there's been a lot of drama. There's been a lot of drama there the last couple of years, and it doesn't seem like the drama has been slowing down, maybe beginning to get worse. So, I'm not surprised anytime in the middle of the season, but we're focused deeply on our championship. We've got Max still pushing hard, so we've got to stay alert to that. But yeah, a huge amount of success that they've had with her. I mean, this is Zak Brown we're talking about. Carefully chooses every word he says, and he's very well known for that, which is why he's one of the most talked about figures in the Formula One world. When he talks about something, he knows what he's going to create: drama and more trouble among his colleagues. But the fact that he's speaking badly about her, the man, that he has gone through a lot within the past couple of years, is just another painful hit to the wound that she is currently going through. Let's not forget that Zak Brown is the man who went on to write a public letter to Ben regarding the punishment of Red Bull for breaking the sporting rules. There's no doubt in anyone's mind that Brown doesn't have kindness for her. And in this tough world, perhaps that's the mindset you need to have if you're going to survive as a team principal. Be that as it may, Brown has taken the bold step to talk about what's next for her career in Formula One. And when talking about it, he said, "I think given his age and his experience in motor racing, I'd be surprised if he didn't show up somewhere in motor racing. But I don't know his other hobbies, whether he wants to go run a football team or what have you. So we'll see." And the entire situation from Zak Brown is being told from a very interesting point of view. We do know for a fact that Max Verstappen could join Mercedes very soon. And that's not really good news for McLaren. If the Woking Bay squad sees this situation become real, then the duo of Piastri and Norris will get a true monster as their opponent. Not that they didn't have it now with Verstappen and Red Bull, but it's going to be different in the newly changed era. That's why Zak Brown wants to be a very close watcher to the whole Max to Mercedes story. And talking more deeply about it, he said, "Yeah, but I couldn't be happier with the lineup I have right now with Oscar and Lando. So, I'm sort of an interested watcher. I'm very happy with my driver lineup, so I don't really kind of spend any time on anything other than what shows up on my phone. As of now, one thing is for sure. Red Bull is not on the level of McLaren, and Zak Brown knows that better than anyone." A big reason for this change of events was the arrival of Rob Marshall in McLaren back in 2023. And with the full reshaping of the team, the Woking Bay squad saw themselves rise to the top very quickly under the same rules from 2022. It must not be easy for all of the Red Bull fans to see the key people that helped build their team from the start leave and go to another squad to make them even stronger. The same can be said for Jonathan Wheatley. Just look at how Sabo was changed in the matter of 1 year. They're now fighting in the middle group after being in the back for so long. All of this can be linked to Christian and the negative effect he's had in the inner circle of Red Bull. It's not just Zak Brown who spoke in such a way about her. Let's not forget what Jos, the father of Max, had to say about what would happen to Red Bull if he were to keep leading the team. Everything would fall to pieces, and whether we like Jos or not, he was actually right. The whole squad fell apart. So, the firing with no delay might have been the best solution for Red Bull after all. This is something that shocked the old friend of hers and the former FIA boss Bernie Ecclestone, as he went on to say, "All I know is the message the whole world has got, which is that he's been fired right away. It's the right away part that I don't get. Why would they ask him to leave so suddenly? It's like he's done something very serious. You can understand if you're going to fire someone, then you'd have a talk first and you'd come out with something like, 'We've agreed to split ways' or something. But to say you're fired with no delay, he must have done something a bit extreme. For that to happen, let's say they were not happy with the results, which I can get, that's one thing. But to be fired right away, that's a totally different story. So, what does the future look like for Red Bull now? Their top priority is fixing the internal structure of the squad and also making sure Verstappen stays. The four-time world champion might have been given a great push in that regard. And while the report said that her firing could also mean the Verstappens might now follow, that's very unlikely to happen. Zak Brown thinks that it's a bit too early to talk about what's going to happen in 3 or 5 years. But one thing is for sure, he'd much rather see Verstappen race for Red Bull than for Mercedes from 2026 onwards. With this, he's giving Red Bull yet another quiet shock. The expectations are that the engines that the Brackley-based squad are going to build will be extremely powerful. Compared to the ones of Red Bull, a team that will be almost inexperienced along with Audi. Again, I don't blame Brown for making the comments he makes because it's his job to stir things up in places he thinks are useful. The same was done by Wolff when he had a chance to pressure Red Bull. Now the Austrian team. Boss is working behind the scenes and is making bigger plans that the media might not even know about. And the biggest one is stealing Verstappen right in front of Red Bull's faces. The firing of her might have given him the best chance to do it. And when speaking more deeply about this, Zak Brown shared his doubt that such a move will happen. He further said, "At the same time, there is a 4-time world champion who needs to decide what he's going to do next. And as a team boss, you need to see where that's heading. But I think I give it a very small chance that it's going to happen. I don't know what's coming in 3 or 5 years. That's why you need to look at what should be planned for the long term." All of this is putting a lot of focus on whether Horner's exit from Red Bull will keep his now ex-colleagues busy for a long time.